Oh man. For me, this is just my second interview, but normally I'm not getting interviewed all the time or anything like that. I don't want to come off that way. But I was on a reality TV show over the summertime called Canada's Ultimate Challenge, and the season finale airs tomorrow. So CBC wanted to do a little fireside chat on it. Dude, it was way fun. Like the whole premise of the TV show is turning Canada's landscapes into huge obstacle courses. And I'm a guy that really loves a challenge, and especially when it comes to a physical challenge. So I uh, I excelled in it. I tried my best, and I'm in the season finale, so I like that. Yeah, it's in CBC. Yep, yep. Shows on the CBC. Okay, so I'm just logging in right now. I'm totally in, and what do I do now? Go to notifications. Oh yeah. Yep, I just followed you back. By the end of this phone call, you'll be with Purple Cow Internet. I like that. I'm on your account. Okay. Okay, so I think I'm in, or I see you're recording. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Not sure if you see me in there or not. Okay. Okay, that's what I was thinking too. Same deal. It's like play the recording. Might need to start a new one. Dude, no one said we were professionals at this stuff, right?
Good. All right, people on the live stream, I just turned on my other mic, so you should be able to hear me now. What has happened is two things. One is my current internet provider, who I shall not name, seems to be sucking, and so I need to switch to Purple Cow. And then the other thing is Twitter is acting up. So I'm just going to restart the app, and then we should be good to go. Just see what's going on. Huh. Okay. I might actually have to restart my phone because it's telling me I'm at 100% CPU utilization, which makes no sense. But so right now we are live on Facebook and on YouTube. And are you there, or did I lose you?
Oh, I hear you now. Yep.
Okay.
I think you're in and out.
Yeah. Okay. My CPU is at 100%. Okay. Uh, let's see if that changes. 1 second. Can you hear me? Okay.
I can hear you fine now. Yep.
All right. Beautiful. Cool. So, two things I need to do is upgrade my internet, upgrade my CPU, upgrade my phone. I'm upgrading
Let's
everything.
go, babe. Let's
Let's do it.
go.
Let's go big or go home. All right.
That's right.
So, we're supposedly live on. Yep, it says we're streaming to Facebook, and we're also streaming to YouTube. So,
Cool.
my name's Ifo. I'm originally from. I'm just going to do a little intros so people know who's who here. So my name is Ifo. I grew up on
Yeah.
the west coast of Africa. I moved to Canada back in '89. I was a lover of technology, so I decided to go into computer engineering school. and then I discovered that I actually did not like looking at circuit boards all day. So I shifted into business. I was custom building computers, yada 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 yada. Fast forward to today, I went back to school, have a computer science degree, um, working as a Linux sysadmin for one of the largest employers in this province. And now I also host Twitter Spaces, and I like to talk to people who are doing interesting things, and that's where Bradley comes in. So there was a chat in a local group called Hollyhacks. Definitely, everybody check out hollyhacks.com, and it's a Slack space. It's also a nonprofit group now where local techies talk about technology and work and life and sometimes some good jokes. And so we're having some discussions about internet and fiber and CRTC decisions. For those who are not in Canada, CRTC is the Canadian Radio and Telecommunication Commission. And then someone brought up the fact that, hey, someone in the group named Bradley started an ISP called Purple Crowd. And then someone messaged me and said, hey, maybe you should have a chat with that. And because I had some plans to maybe see if we can have some sort of community-owned internet infrastructure as opposed to completely private, and start having the power of the internet in the hands of the communities as opposed to all the money pretty much just being sucked out towards wherever the head office was, which is usually not anywhere in Atlantic Canada. So I think, Bradley, you might be one of the few that are left, as far as not even just left. I think you started after a lot of people got out of the
Yeah.
business. So yeah, so tell us a little bit about yourself. Um, you can start with the tech side of what made you or what possessed you to decide to start an internet provider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So my name is Bradley Farquhar. I'm a SMU grad, born and raised in Nova Scotia, and I'm a proud Nova Scotian. Right out of SMU, when I graduated, I moved down to the United States, and I lived all across in California, Arizona, New Jersey. But one of my favorite places I lived was San Francisco, and I went to school in San Francisco to take computer programming, and always been into computers and tech. About 9 years living down in the United States, decided it's time to find a wife and move home and do that whole thing that we do in Nova Scotia. And when I moved home, got my apartment, went set up internet, and I couldn't believe how much internet costs. Like people are paying 100, 200, $300 if you got the triple play. And in that moment moving home, I knew if you could create an internet service provider in the Maritimes that had, phenomenal prices, but matched with customer service just as great, if not more amazing, then you can create something really special here. So that started my path down the road to create Purple Cow Internet.
Awesome. So how long ago was that?
And this is almost 5 years ago right now that we launched Purple Cow Internet. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. And what's kind of crazy too about the launch, it's like I don't come from an ISP background. Never worked for one. My biggest experience is knocking doors and then the lessons I learned in school. So when trying to put this together, it took me about a year to put all the pieces together because I didn't really know what the CRTC was at the time. I didn't know the process or how to put it together, get the rules and regulations, or even how to buy the hardware. I'm not a hardware guy. So
You
getting all
should
the
have called.
pieces
You
put
should have
together,
called me.
bro, come join the team. We're always adding stuff. But yeah, so like putting all the pieces together took some time, but now that's all together and we're humming along. It's how can we become better? How can we become better?
How long would you say it took you to get to the point where you would say all the pieces were together?
And a solid year. Like not only do you need like the hardware pieces and the software together, but then you also need your team. And I only started off with one other team member, and he's still with us today. SMU grad Joe Power, and he's the man. He brings a lot of experience and industry knowledge because he worked for Eastlink for several years.
Nice. I. Oh yeah, I was telling you in Slack that I actually played soccer for SMU for
Yeah,
there you go. And then
I like that.
before that, I spent 2 years playing soccer against SMU because I was at a different
Oh,
university. So we'll
dude, I
keep
did
that
some
nameless for now.
checking up. People told me you're the goat of soccer.
I,
Killed it.
I do what I can. I try to represent, you know, and since I was playing my soccer back in '89 and '90 and '91, I still play three, sometimes four times a week. So
Wow.
I try to remind the youngins that you can still do it. Um, all right, the space has just started again, and I am tweeting it as we speak. So sweet. So you should be able to join. What we're going to do is our audio is going to switch shortly over from um, right on the Google Meet over to the Twitter space as soon as you're able to join it. So it's a new link which I just made another tweet, so you should see that on your phone.
Okay.
And then as soon as you join
Yep.
in, tweet. I shall yeah. As soon as you join in, I will make you a co-host.
Playing my soccer back in.
Okay, beautiful. I'm starting to hear the sound, which means it is time for me to.
I just got a notification that the space has ended.
The new one that I just started,
Yep.
it's still going. Story time with it's story time 2.
Yeah, it just said just ended.
Hold on a second here. Let me attempt to do something. Let me attempt to send it to you, invite to a DM.
Oh, it might be.
Let's see. Why aren't you coming up?
Playing my soccer back in '89 and '90 and '90.
So are you in, or is it still saying it's ended? There should be two of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
One is
It
ended.
honestly. Yeah, I see your most recent one you just posted 3 minutes ago, and
And does that one say ended as well?
I'm not sure.
1 second. Let me see if I can find that on here. Where are you? The joys of tech. All right, so let's go back to me and let's see. Okay, there we go. That was at 3:28. No, that was 22 minutes ago. And let's see, there's test space. Where is the one I just shared? Where are you? So on my space, you only see the recording. Yeah, that's the same thing I'm seeing on my end here. Boom, boom, boom. The joys of technology. I'm going to attempt to. Oh, there we go. Come on. Let's see what network I'm on. All right. It's still showing me the space, but it's showing me nothing. Okay.
Dude, what we should do?
Yeah.
You come over here. We'll be on my Purple Cow network, which is badass. and we'll hit this one out of the park.
Yes. Well, what's going on right now is people can hear us on Facebook and people can hear us on YouTube. So let's just continue that way, and
I like that.
then we'll do later on. We'll do um, some other time. We could do a Q&A with people. Technically, I'm supposed to be able to see all the questions that people. It's new tech I'm using here. New to me anyway, not new to the world, but so I'm supposed to be able to see all the chats. So if people, this tells me there's two people watching on Facebook and nobody on YouTube at the moment. All right, no worries. So I'm just gonna share the link on for people so that people can check it out. The people who wanted to see it on Twitter, and we will continue with that. Boom. So where were we? We talked about you starting Purple Cow. We talked about why everyone should switch to Purple Cow. And yeah, I was going to ask you a couple of questions. Let's start with space. Why space? And since we're on a Twitter space, I don't want to confuse people, so maybe you should clarify why I'm talking about space.
Yeah. So why we're talking about space? So I don't know. Like, I've always been a goal-orientated person, and Purple Cow is one of my goals, and I'm hoping it'll get me to my next goal. But what I've been working towards, what I really want to accomplish, is is building hotels in space and having a place up there to vacation and my friends and family to vacation, kind of like a timeshare. So the whole goal is to straight up go to space and be able to spend time out there. And it almost might sound cliche now because a lot of people talk about it, but when I first started talking about it, everyone thought I was crazy, and I still get a lot of people thinking I'm crazy.
Do you know where in space, like it's on the moon and Mars, or what are you thinking?
Oh, just cruising around the Earth, same orbit as International Space Station. I want people to see where they're from, where they live, and just kind of enjoy that the no gravity space to be able to float around. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, the way I always pitch it is like, go vacation with your partner. You can be drinking wine out of a mini sip, and everything you do up there is going to be one of the world's first.
Nice. And do you have a date for when you think that might happen?
I think I could, like, I'm hoping within the next 10 years I can actively take my attention span and direct it directly at my space goals.
In the next 10 years?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm 37 now. It'd put me at 47. I think that seems reasonable.
Wow. Okay. So 10 years from now, you're still going to be younger than me. That's not fair. But it's all good. They say with age comes wisdom. So let's hope. Let's hope well. They say you sometimes, not always. You know,
That's fair.
a friend of mine used to joke that everybody is old but not necessarily wise. So be careful which old person you listen to, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So you said starting up the ISP, you had a whole bunch of challenges in the beginning because it was something new to you. Um, so based on that, what would you say um, if you were to start again today? What would you do
Hmm. Like, if I was going to start again today,
differently?
I would probably hire a bigger team than just one other person, because I totally worked myself almost to the grave. It was you get burnt out and you really can't do anything. I would not start the internet service provider months before this world pandemic happened, because that wasn't a fun experience trying to get people installed and having to do everything remotely.
Oh,
But all in all,
sorry.
sorry.
Oh, hold up. I didn't realize that. So you started just before the pandemic hit?
Yeah, I launched just before the pandemic.
Like, what
Yeah.
month did you start? Like
Um,
December, January?
it started. Yeah, we launched in Jeepers, in May. Launched in May.
Okay, so May of before, and then the next year the pandemic started.
Yeah, so we had about 8 months until the pandemic started.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. So it was interesting times, but honestly, it's been such a great ride. I I love Purple Cow Internet. I love the mission because our mission is to just drive down the overall cost of internet. You know, not everyone is going to be a fan of Purple Cow. We do things a little bit differently. Not everyone is going to join the herd because they're happy with where they're at. But what if I'm successful in the business, everyone will benefit because I'll put so much pressure on the big guys. They're going to have to reduce their price to compete.
Nice. So
Yeah.
so at the scale that you're at, um, uh, okay, sometimes I'm not an investor, but sometimes investors ask questions about whether you're at a profitability or if you're still burning through investments or where are you at? Is that something you're comfortable sharing?
Sure, yeah. In launching this business, I started it with all my own funds. I didn't take any funds in at all. With our growth plans and expansion, we're gonna have to start borrowing money. So we've partnered with CIBC. They're really awesome to work with, and you know the goal is to continue growing and expanding. Now, I don't like the idea of borrowing money, but you know I think it's the best move to be able to grow things. And as far as investments coming in, that's something that we're totally open to in the future.
Oh, okay, cool. So at the present, are you in a state where where net revenue positive or you're still?
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
yeah, yeah. So we're net revenue positive. So like we can comfortably pay our bills every single month. It's not like Purple Cow is a cash cow by no means. It's not it's not printing off money the way you would love any business to be doing. But that's not our goal. Our goal is to change the industry. So offering $60 internet, I think will change the internet industry, but it's not going to give you flush with cash to build all the fiber lines in the world that you want.
Okay, so I asked that question because I thought I knew the answer already, and you answered the way I thought you would answer. So
Mhm.
this is why I'm asking. I asked that because I wanted people to think about this. So we have Purple Crowd that started with your own funds, pretty much.
Mhm.
Um, did you have any government subsidies?
Nothing. No, no. I
Okay,
put over $1 million of my own money into this business.
all right. So you put your own money in, no government subsidy, and you're still able to provide internet at rates that are better than what the big guys are doing. And all the major players in Canada in the telecom industry have legacy of, I was going to say millions, but it's probably billions of taxpayers' dollars that have gone towards subsidizing their network.
Yeah, yeah.
In my opinion, because most of the network was built with public funds via some sort of subsidy,
Hmm.
even the copper lines were they had a monopoly on copper, and but a lot of that was laid down with also subsidy from us,
Hmm.
and yet they're charging more than you are.
Yeah.
So if you're able to be profitable at your scale, and they've also got economies of scale, yes, some people can say that they have executives and other people that they're paying huge salaries to. Um, but then the question becomes, if you're profitable at $60, they must be more than profitable.
Well, yeah, like Bell, you can see what their numbers are. Publicly traded company, you can see that obviously they make billions of dollars. Their return on investment and margin is way higher than Purple Cow's is. If we changed our margin to, you know, our price to $100 and we're dropping 30% of the bottom line, and yeah, we'd be just the same. But that's just not what we're going for. Um, and there is no government subsidies in the areas that we compete, like in densely populated area. There's already access to fiber and copper, and internet speeds over 100 megabits per second. The only government subsidies now is going to rural areas, and there is billions of dollars across Canada being given out to large ISPs like Rogers Bell and Telus to build out in these areas, and some smaller ones. And Pictou County is a really cool example that they got some of this government money and they're building out their own infrastructure. So it's a utility for the city, which is a really cool project in what they're doing over there.
Yes, maybe about a decade or so ago, some of us tried to convince the city of Halifax to do that. And then they had some conversations with some people at Bell, I believe it was, who told them that it wasn't practical, that it would be better for Bell to manage it. I have no idea why government officials sometimes listen to, it's like going to, I don't want to pick any car company, but let's just say it's like if you went to a Ford dealership to ask them what kind of car should you buy, don't be surprised if they suggest that you buy a Ford, right? Same thing as if you go to a dealership, they're going to tell you that it's a good idea to do Nissan, whatever it is. I'm not picking on anyone. I'm just that's the way it is. But for some reason, I think there's something that we need to change in. I don't know how other governments work outside of Canada, but there seems to be a tradition in Canada of hiring consultants who are actually salespeople for a company to help the government figure out what they should do next. And if somebody sells shovels and you hire them to figure out what you should do next, don't be surprised if they sell you shovels. Doesn't necessarily mean that you need shovels.
Yeah.
They'll come up with a reason why you need it. Cool.
Yeah, and that's it's just the capitalist society that we're in. Everyone's trying to make a buck and support their family and get ahead in life. And some things are really crummy about the setup that we're playing in, but it is the game.
Cool. So I'm also going to, I had a few questions that one of them was I was going to ask you what were your thoughts on CRTC rules as far as access to fiber, from the whole standpoint. No, well, it's two-part. One is your thoughts on the rules, and let's start with that, and then we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, well, the only reason the purple cows of the world can even exist is because of the governing body over the telecommunications industry, the CRTC, says that the big guys, the big incumbents, should carve out part of the network to allow us to run our data over it. Because the idea for a competitor to start up from the ground up and build their own lines across the province or across whatever city is hundreds of millions of dollars. It's very expensive. It's a big barrier. So what CRTC did says, okay, cool, you can use the big incumbents network to get your internet around, but you have to pay them monthly to do so. And how do I feel about it? I love it. Like, we couldn't have a purple cow if it wasn't for that. Is there things that don't work very well and perfectly smooth? Heck yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of things I would love to change about it, being in my seat, but I'm sure the big guys would love to change some of the things on their side. But at the end of the day, I'm happy with the way things are. We're able to grow purple cow into something special and prove that even under the conditions that we have to operate in, we can still do something that's better than the big guys that have the ability to do anything they want.
All right, cool. So right now, are you building out your own fiber, or are you building out your own fiber?
Yeah, we're starting the process to make that happen. Yeah.
Nice. So then the question would be, why do you want your own fiber?
It's to create a magical experience for the end user. So when you sign up for Purple Cow, I don't want it to be like signing up for one of the other big guys. I want it to be something special, memorable that you'll talk about. And I can only do that if I have complete control over that process.
Nice. Okay, makes sense. Now, if you're going to own your own fiber, would that put you under the same CRTC rules that to give access for others if they need wholesale access?
Yeah, if people want wholesale access, let's go. I'm not trying to build a moat. I'm trying to change an industry. Now, the CRTC hasn't mandated that they that to sell wholesale access to fiber networks, and maybe that will change, and it will be something in the future. To answer your question, if you're going to ask me what's my opinion on access to the fiber, I think if you have a network that is government subsidized and built out in that manner, where it was taxpayers' dollars to give it to you in the first place, I think there should be a way for wholesale to work. If it's something that you just built out and you paid X amount of money for it, you should have time to recoup your initial investment before letting other competitors on your network.
Okay. And what are your thoughts on net neutrality? And also, yeah.
Yeah, I'm green light on net neutrality.
Okay. Other people may not be familiar with what net neutrality is. Do you want to sort of let people know what that is, or how you think that would be an advantage?
Dude, I think you're the man to explain how that works.
Okay, I was trying to have you talk more than I did, but okay. So I think neutrality really should be, or was part of the original vision of the internet, and what that means is that everyone on the network should be neutral. So, which would mean that, for example, say I started, let's say I started an internet provider, and customers of my network were trying to get access to or send messages or even have a video chat like we're having now with someone on Purple Cow's network or Bell or anybody else. Net neutrality would mean that the network that connects each of those networks, it would be neutral. There wouldn't be preference given. So Bradley couldn't decide that, you know what, I don't like EFO's internet service and I want to get business from them. So what I'm going to do is anybody on EFO's network that's trying to get onto Bradley's network, we're going to just slow their stuff down or give preference to only other people who are on Purple Cow. And I think one of the reasons why they did that, especially in the US, was because they started seeing anti-competitive behavior that was happening with companies signing special deals or saying, if you pay extra money, for example, if there was no net neutrality, and I noticed that my customers were having issues trying to connect to Purple Cow, I could go talk to Purple Cow and say, hey, how much money should I pay you so that my users can access yours? And
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
what was happening, but then it ended up with it's only the people with the deepest pockets who can afford to play that game.
yeah. It becomes a slippery slope.
Yeah.
It's anti-competitive. If if you're starting a new streaming service or something, and you pay more money than Netflix, you can get higher priority on packets that's coming to your servers rather than theirs. It just it's not what the internet should be.
True. So, the plan originally was to have this so that there'd be a little bit of a Q&A and I'd see some questions. I did have some questions that came in to people on in the Halifax. So I'm just looking
Hello.
quickly just to see. Um, there was the question about space, of course, which you already
Mhm.
answered. Um, are you at liberty to share which area or which county your initial fiber network's going to be in?
All under wraps right now,
Okay.
but we'll become public with everything shortly.
So when you're saying short, are you talking days, weeks, months,
6 months.
six
Yeah,
months?
the whole process is a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. Um, Now I'm just being curious here. Um, for the gear that you need to do this kind of stuff, is acquiring gear an issue? Because I heard that there was some issues with CPU and other gear availability after COVID. Has that affected you
Yeah.
in any way?
It has affected us this whole entire time since COVID. But the gear that we're purchasing for in the future, supply is definitely starting to loosen up and become easier. So, stuff that was out 2 years or 18 months is now only out like 9, 10 months. And 9, 10 months is a lot easier to work with than 2 years.
Yes. But even when you said 9, 10 months, I was like, oh my God, that's long.
Oh yeah, but
We're doing with 2 years before then.
yeah,
9 months is like, woo! Yeah,
yeah, I'll take 9 months.
yeah,
Yeah, and it's steadily going in that direction. So supply chains are getting easier, competitors are ramping up, and a lot to do with when you're in a supply pinch, you think, okay, cool, I might not be able to get stuff in the future, so I should order more now, which just exacerbates the issue. So there's a lot of customers out there that have these big inventories of equipment now that don't need to reorder anymore. So as different suppliers and stuff start filling these orders, they're gonna and after ramping up manufacturing, they're gonna have lots of supply. So I think we're gonna come into a surplus here in the next year.
cool. So you're currently not in a surplus of gear. You don't have
No,
issues with
no,
gear. Um,
no.
I would say that is a blessing because I've been around tech for a while, and prices usually drop. There's the who was it Moore's law that says every 18 months computing would develop basically the price of your computing would sort of drop in half, but also the power of the computing would also double. And
Yeah, yeah.
um, you might have a strange blessing in this thing, in that your competitors might have warehouses full of older gear, and you might be running with newer stuff that's
Dude,
working faster. So let's
I
hope
love
that
it.
that's what it is.
That's
That's
how.
that's what I'm seeing in it. All right. At this time, this is what I will call my indirect pitch, but you already know it because I mentioned it. So one of the things that I've been looking at for probably the last 30 years or so has been looking at ways in which communities can have access to technology. Um,
Hmm.
my focus, I grew up on the west coast of Africa, so my focus has been on that. But back in the days of dial-up, I got involved as a volunteer with the community access program here, which the province sponsored at the time, and we're providing community access points to in different places. So people who didn't necessarily own computers or couldn't afford computers or didn't have a phone line or whatever could come into a space and get to use the internet. For the most part, they were usually free, or they were connected to a library or a church or some other community center. So in the process of going around and volunteering with that program, I came to discover that there are lots of places in Atlantic Canada that are having similar internet challenges as some rural parts in Africa, which I was kind of shocked by because when you hear about North America or Canada, you do not think that there are people that would be cut off from. They're not completely cut off because some people are still using dial-up, but in
Hmm.
2023, if you're using dial-up, this conversation that we're having can barely. I don't know if it can work on dial-up. I know people
Of
did
course.
on dial-up once upon a time, but so it's the productivity of people in some rural areas is being challenged by that. Even today on the radio, there was a guy talking about how his doctor still sends him notices by mail because where the doctor's office is, they can't get good internet, right? And so it's 2023. COVID hit for 2 years where people were all supposed to be online to get government services, school services, medical appointments, blah, 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 blah. Yet we're in a situation where some people are still stuck on dial up if they can get it. So
Yeah,
um, it's a serious situation.
yeah.
So what I talk about from the pitch point, it's not really a pitch, but one of the things I'm excited about talking to you about in the future, we'll talk about this offline, but I'm going to let the cat out of the bag, is how we can, as a community, not just locally, but internationally, start talking to communities about owning the last mile.
Hmm.
Then having organizations like, or different companies like your company assist with helping to build the back end, or even just manage
Hmm.
the back end. Because that would do two things. One, it creates better internet for those communities. The other pitch I had, but other part of what I was planning is, let's get the young. Some people are saying that young people don't talk to old people anymore. They're all stuck on their phones or blah 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 blah. So part of the pitch was to have some of the youth in the different communities be providing support. So
Yep.
you'll be assigned, a group of grandmothers or grandfathers or whatever in that neighborhood area, and whenever there's an issue that you can't deal with right over the phone, we will pay some of the kids in the neighborhood to come fix whatever your internet problem is. That way we can build this generation gap, because sometimes only time some kids hear from older people is when they're yelling at them to, hey, stop doing that, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
trying to figure out a creative way to basically bribe these kids to talk to their elders, right? But in a way
That's
that,
cool.
so what do you think of that?
I think the more creative the strategy, the better. Involving multiple generations in a community-driven program, I think is great. And there's no reason why it couldn't work. And it challenges the status quo, which I can't help but want to support.
Awesome, awesome. All right. So you're almost not on Twitter.
Yeah, that's right.
So the question is, if people wanted to reach you, or even to reach Purple Cow, how would you say are the best ways to reach you personally, and also to reach Purple Cow if they want to find out more?
Yeah. On the socials, it'd be Instagram. So Bradley Farquhar on Instagram. And then if you're interested in Purple Cow, the best way to do is just sign up right online, purplecowinternet.com. I think we were one of the first internet service providers across Canada to have an online checkout, just like buying something on Amazon to get your product. Now it's becoming a more and more common thing. But yeah, you can sign up right online. We ship you the modem. You're up and running in a few days, and you're gonna have fast, awesome internet.
Awesome. Cool, 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 cool. Well, any questions for me?
No, man, I think you've been awesome. I really appreciate your time and hearing your vision of the future. I think it's really awesome and inspirational.
Thank you. We shall continue to have this conversation. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule of running an internet provider to do this. And I have you on here, and my internet sucks, so I need to fix that. So I should just go to Purple Cow and sign up. That's it, or
My man,
should I
I'm
talk
gonna
to you and you give me the CEO hookup?
I'm gonna send you a link right now
Hmm.
and something a little extra special.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. And by the way, this was the first time that I've ever done multi-streaming to other sites at the same time. So thanks for the patience with the tech. I'm just chilling at home here in my robe and being comfy because that's how I like to work. And
Dude, I like that.
sweet.
Only up from here.
Yes, yes, yes. And if you want to play some soccer, hook me up, hit me up, and I'll hook you up. There's games all the time.
Barajo. I'll message you about that. Thank you so
Beautiful.
much for your time, man.
All right. Have a beautiful day. Take care. Thank you. And
You too.
one, look out for Storytime with EFO. It's a Storytime with Afrohealer. This was the first one. It won't be the last. Is tomorrow Thursday? Yes. Tomorrow at about 6 o'clock Atlantic time, 5 p.m. Eastern time, I will be doing another one. Hopefully, I'll have figured out how everything works properly, so I'll be able to get the Twitter part working too. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking basically